Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. France's newly appointed Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu quits just a day after appointing his cabinet. Far-right's Marine Le Pen demands holding snap parliamentary elections. The Election Commission of India announces two-phase Bihar Assembly elections. The first phase to be held on 6th of November and the second on 11th. Votes to be counted on the 14th of next month. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to inaugurate the Aravalli Summit 2025 at the JNU on India's global role by 2047. And Americans Mary A. Brancow and Fred Ramsdell with Japan's Shimon Sakaguchi backed the Medicine Nobel for their research into how the immune system is kept in check. France's new Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu and his government resigned on Monday, hours after Lecornu announced his cabinet lineup, making it the shortest-lived in modern French history. The swift resignation was unexpected and marked another major deepening of France's political crisis. It came after allies and foes alike threatened to topple the new government. Speaking after tendering his resignation, Lecornu blamed the collapse on the inability of political parties to compromise.
What matters is what we are going to do, with the humility to accept that something can be done before 2027. Other things will be addressed later during the debate running up to the presidential election. And fundamentally, there are many red lines coming from the mouth of many, at least some, not all, but there are rarely any green lines. Yet the very principle of building a compromise between political parties is to be able to combine green lines while respecting a number of red lines. But we cannot be at both extremes. Some opposition parties have understood this, and I think, and I want to thank them. Now we must be able to move forward, or at least those who want to find a path for the country must be able to move forward. One must always put their country before their party and know how to listen to activists, but always think of the French people.
Lecornu was Prime Minister for only 27 days. His government lasted 14 hours. Macron's opponents immediately tried to capitalize on the shocking resignation with a far-right national rally calling on him to either call for new snap elections or resign. On the far left, France Unbowed party also asked for Macron's departure. On to West Asia now. Israel and Hamas will hold indirect negotiations in Egypt on Monday aimed at hopes for a possible agreement on ending the Gaza conflict based on Donald Trump's ceasefire plan. Trump has promoted a 20-point plan aimed at ending the fighting in Gaza, securing the release of remaining hostages and defining the territory's future. Israel and Hamas have agreed to parts of the plan. Hamas on Friday accepted the hostage release and several other elements, but sidestepped the contentious points, including calls for its disarmament, which it has long rejected. Trump welcomed Hamas's response, saying that he believed Hamas had shown it was ready for lasting peace. He told Israel to stop bombing Gaza immediately, but its attacks on the enclave have continued. Speaking to reporters ahead of the talks, President Trump sounded an optimistic note, saying that he and a lot of the countries surrounding Israel had some very good meetings with Hamas.
Yeah, we did it very quickly. We had some very good meetings. The countries of the world, a lot of the countries surrounding Israel, frankly, Muslim, Arab, and many others have had great meetings with Hamas. and it looks like it's working. So we'll wait for a little while, see how it all turns out.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the responsibility lies with Hamas to fully accept the peace plan.
Well, we accepted the deal, as did all the world. It was President Trump's plan. Hamas says that it accepted the deal. Now the onus is on Hamas. This plan consists of two parts. The first part is releasing all the hostages. Israel makes a tactical withdrawal, stays in Gaza. And then the second part is meant to demilitarize Gaza and disarm Hamas. That will be negotiated. Of course, I can't tell you if Hamas will agree to it. I think that it's possible. I hope it'll happen, but I can't guarantee that it'll happen. And so if it doesn't happen, what President Trump has said is that he will back Israel completely in acting forcefully against Hamas. Well, let's hope that, that we can finish it the easy way and not the hard way.
Now, a day before the conflict's second anniversary, Israelis gathered at the hostage square in Tel Aviv on Sunday, praying for the return of the hostages. Many in the crowd sat in silence, while others wept or joined chants led from a makeshift stage. So Hamas's attack on October 7, 2023 on Israel triggered the conflict in Gaza. Hamas killed 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and about 251 were taken as hostage. On to the US now. Trump administration officials issued a warning on Sunday that Americans will increasingly feel the pain of an ongoing US government shutdown. Most federal operations remain shut as no tangible signs of negotiations have emerged between US congressional leaders since President Trump met them last week. A report.
The Trump administration has warned that it will start mass layoffs of federal workers if the shutdown stalemate persists. As the shutdown entered its fifth day, White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett said he still saw a chance that Democrats would back down. Hassett directs the White House's National Economic Council. He has pinned hopes for progress in talks during next week. Talks will center on addressing expiring Obamacare health subsidies. The Senate's Republican Majority Leader acknowledged the two sides were currently at a stalemate. US President Donald Trump said that firing of federal workers is taking place right now as he blamed the shutdown on Democratic lawmakers. Two unions representing federal employees have asked a California federal court to stop the Trump administration from conducting sweeping layoffs that could permanently eliminate jobs deemed non-consistent with President Donald Trump's priorities. The American Federation of Government Employees and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees argued that a temporary restraining order was necessary to prevent significant harm.
Taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. The Democrats are causing the loss of a lot of jobs with their, it's a shutdown. It's their shutdown, not our shutdown, it's their shutdown.
No tangible signs of negotiations have emerged between congressional leaders since Trump met with them last week. Rank and file Senate Democrats and Republicans have held informal talks aimed at finding common ground on healthcare and other issues in hopes of reaching a deal to reopen the government. On Monday, the Senate is due to vote for a fifth time on the stopgap funding bill that has already passed the Republican-controlled House of Representatives and on a Democratic alternative. Bureau Report, DD India.
Russia's defense ministry on Monday said that it downed 251 Ukrainian drones overnight. Ukraine struck the Russian region of Belgorod in an overnight shelling, damaging power infrastructure that left thousands without power. Electricity was restored by Monday morning. Russia's defense ministry said that its alert systems intercepted and destroyed Ukrainian fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Dozens more were shot out of the skies over the Kursk and Belgorod regions. Scientists Mary E. Brankow and Fred Ramsdell of the United States, along with Shimon Sakaguchi of Japan, have been awarded this year's Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their groundbreaking research on how the immune system is regulated. The Nobel Committee recognized the trio for their discoveries in peripheral immune tolerance, a crucial mechanism that prevents the body's immune system from attacking its own tissues. The Nobel Assembly at Sweden's Karolinska Institute stated that their work has laid the foundation for a new field of research and opened the door to innovative treatments for conditions such as cancer and autoimmune diseases. The winners will receive 11 million Swedish crowns, roughly $1.2 million US, along with a gold medal to be presented by the King of Sweden. The Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine is the first of the 6 Nobel categories to be announced. It will be followed by the Nobel Prize in Physics.
The Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institutet has today decided to award the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine jointly to Mary Brankow, Fred Ramsdell and Shimon Sakaguchi for their discoveries concerning peripheral immune tolerance.
The death toll from an Indonesian school collapse rose to 63 on Monday as rescuers searched for more than a dozen still missing. Part of the multi-story building on Indonesia's Java island collapsed suddenly last week as students gathered for afternoon prayers. Rescuers were still working round the clock in the rubble of the school. At least 13 people were still missing. Investigators have been examining the cause of the collapse, but initial indications suggest that substandard construction may have contributed to the incident. There have been another wave of drone sightings in Germany over the weekend, one at the Munich airport on Friday evening and another near the Frankfurt International, the country's busiest airport. Joining us now from Berlin is DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu. Chiponda, thank you for being with us. Bring us up to speed. What has happened so far?
Thanks for having me. Well, dozens of flights were diverted and cancelled at Munich International on Friday evening. And that was, of course, the second drone sighting in 2 days. Now, also on Friday, a drone was spotted flying quite close to Frankfurt International, which is the country's busiest airport. Now, a man was arrested in that incident. And over the weekend, we did hear from Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, who tried to reassure Germans in an interview with a newspaper. He said that there have been no concrete threats from the drones, and that it is important to view the situation calmly. Now, Pistorius also went on to add that good progress is being made on drone defense, but the defense minister still downplayed expectations that the German army could be made responsible for shooting drones wherever they appear. Germany was only recently equipped with armed combat drones, so the country has plenty of work to do when it comes to defending itself against enemy drones. And while shooting down drones is possible, it is still very expensive and also dangerous when it is overpopulated areas.
Okay, Chiponda, also tell us what challenges is Germany facing in responding to these drone incidents?
One challenge that Germany faces is the distribution of responsibility. Now, the responsibility for countering drones is divided between the German army and the police forces of the country's 16 federal states. And there are differences over how to respond even within the federal government. For instance, the defense minister voiced skepticism about plans by Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt to establish a drone defense center. So there doesn't appear to be a coordinated response from the government. Now, in terms of equipment, there are jammers that can be used to interrupt communications between the drone and an operator. And the German army recently purchased interceptors that can be used to capture enemy drones with nets. But military experts are saying that the demand for such equipment is higher, especially given the drone sightings that we've been seeing in recent weeks.
Okay, thank you, Chiponda Chimbelu, giving us those updates from DW Berlin. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. US tariffs have so far not impacted the Indian economy, says Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam. India reaffirms support for democracy and stability in Bangladesh, backs free, fair and peaceful polls. And Nepal hit by rain and floods. One hiker dead and 100 others rescued due to inclement weather near the Mount Everest.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Next news from India. India's Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar announced the dates for the Bihar Assembly elections. The elections will be conducted in 2 phases on November 6th and November 11th. The counting of votes will take place on November 14th, determining the next legislative leadership of the eastern state.
बिहार के चुनाव 2 फेजेस में होंगे। पहले फेज के गैजेट नोटिफिकेशन 10 तारीख को आएगा, दूसरे का 13 को। लास्ट डेट ऑफ मेकिंग नॉमिनेशंस पहले फेज की 17 को होगी, दूसरे की 20 को। स्क्रूटनी 18 और 21। विड्रॉल की आखिरी तारीख 20 अक्टूबर और 23 अक्टूबर। और डेट ऑफ पोल 6 नवंबर थर्सडे और दूसरा 11 नवंबर ट्यूसडे। काउंटिंग 14 नवंबर को होगी और पूरी चुनावी प्रक्रिया 16 नवंबर तक समाप्त कर ली जाएगी।
India remains confident amid global trade uncertainties. Launching the Trade Watch quarterly data for financial year 2025 in New Delhi, Niti Aayog CEO BVR Subramaniam said that US tariffs have so far not impacted the Indian economy. He also added that optimism remains high, with hopes that a potential trade deal by November will ensure continued stability and prevent any disruption to economic growth.
Sides are still committed to having a trade deal. So discussions are on, negotiations have happened last month only. So I think both sides are hopeful. Our minister was also in the US. So I think the trade deal is what will actually finally resolve all issues, number one. Number two, it has not yet affected trade. Let me be very, very clear. And this is my own assessment, and this is assessment based on talking to people on the ground. The reason is, just as building trade channels is difficult, unwinding trade channels is also difficult. So people are locked into sellers and our chaps are locked into buyers there. These things are not disrupted overnight.
Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal arrived in Doha for the meeting of the Qatar-India Joint Commission on Trade and Commerce. Piyush Goyal chaired meeting of Qatari and Indian private sector representatives in Doha, where he held discussions on a wide range of topics with the Qatar industry and business community. Piyush Goyal paid floral tributes to the Mahatma Gandhi statue at the Embassy of India in Doha. He also planted a sapling at the premises. Piyush Goyal is on a 2-day visit to Qatar from 6th to 7th of October. The visit underscores the importance that India attaches to its trade and investment ties with Qatar, one of our important trading partners in the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC. With bilateral trade estimated at over $14 billion in 2024-25. The two sides are expected to hold wide-ranging discussions reviewing bilateral trade performance, addressing existing trade barriers and non-tariff issues, and exploring avenues to enhance trade and investment flows. The talks are likely to include deliberations on the proposed India-Qatar FTA, with the way forward on finalizing the terms of reference for the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. The agreement will further strengthen economic cooperation between both the countries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar inaugurated the Aravalli Summit 2025 a while ago. The summit is hosted by the School of International Studies at the JNU in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs and the Chintan Research Foundation. The international conference themed India and the World Order Preparing for 2047 is being organized as part of School of International Studies' 70th anniversary celebrations. India's Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh is on a visit to Maldives. The Defence Secretary called on Maldives Defence Minister Mohammad Ghassan Mahmood in Malé on Monday. The two sides explored new avenues to further strengthen the existing bilateral defence cooperation between the two countries and reiterated commitment to shared peace, stability and security in the Indian Ocean region. During his ongoing two-day official visit, Defence Secretary Rajesh Singh also called on Major General Ibrahim Hilmi, who is the Chief of Defence Force. The two dignitaries held discussions aimed at deepening bilateral defence cooperation and diversifying the India-Maldives defence partnership. India has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting democracy and stability in its neighbourhood. Addressing the media in New Delhi on Monday, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said India is closely monitoring the internal security situation in Bangladesh and firmly supports free, fair and peaceful elections there. He emphasised that India believes in the strength of democratic institutions and hopes to see a representative government emerge through the democratic process.
The internal situation in Bangladesh, we have all seen, for instance, the announcements and the statements. India is firmly in favor of free, fair, inclusive and participatory elections in Bangladesh, and it is in favor of these elections being held at the earliest possible time. We are encouraged by the fact that Bangladesh authorities themselves have spoken about a time frame for these elections, and we would look forward to these elections.
The Indian Navy today commissioned INS Androth, the second anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft, at a ceremony at the Naval Dockyard in Visakhapatnam. The commissioning of Androth marks yet another milestone in the Indian Navy's steady stride towards capability enhancement and indigenization. Built by Gordon Reach shipbuilders and engineers at Kolkata, Androth is a testimony to India's growing maritime self-reliance with over 80% indigenous content. The commissioning of Androth significantly bolsters the Navy's ASW capabilities, especially in countering threats in littoral waters. Together, these inductions in recent months, Arnala, Nistar, Udaygiri, Nilgiri and now Androth, reflect the Navy's balanced growth across the spectrum of maritime operations, embodying the spirit of Atmanirbharta or self-reliance. One hiker died while hundreds others have been rescued as they were trapped by the weather near the eastern face of Mount Everest. More than 200 hikers are stuck after sudden heavy snowfall in China's northwest and western mountain regions over the weekend. On Sunday, 350 trekkers safely reached Kudang, a small township. The remaining 200-plus trekkers have been contacted and search efforts are underway to locate other hikers in the region. World Championship medalists Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Srikanth will spearhead India's campaign at the Arctic Open Badminton tournament, which begins in Finland on Tuesday. Sen reached his first final of the 2025 season at the Hong Kong Open last month, but failed to carry the momentum into the China Masters. Joining Sen in the men's singles draw are 5 other Indian players, including Kidambi Srikanth, who recovered some form with a semi-final appearance at the Al Ain Masters last week. Asian Games men's doubles champions Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty have withdrawn from the tournament. In the women's singles, rising stars Tanya Hemant and Anmol Karb will lead India's charge in the absence of two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu. Tanisha Krastu will pair with Dhruv Kapila to headline India's mixed doubles campaign. Now, Pakistan batter Sidra Amin has been reprimanded for breaching level 1 of the ICC Code of Conduct during their Women's Cricket World Cup match against India in Colombo. In addition to this, one demerit point has been added to her disciplinary record, as it was her first offence in a 24-month period. The incident occurred when Sidra forcefully hit her bat onto the pitch after being dismissed in the 40th over. On-field umpires Lauren Agenbach and Nimali Pereira, third umpire Karen Klost and fourth umpire Kim Cotton levelled the charge. Sidra admitted the offence and accepted the sanction proposed by match referee Chandre Fritz. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Indian para-athletes for their historic performances at the World Para-Athletic Championships. A historic performance by our para-athletes, the Prime Minister wrote on X. This year's World Para-Athletics Championships have been very special. The Indian contingent had its best ever performance, winning 22 medals, including 6 golds. Congrats to our athletes. Their success will inspire several people. I'm proud of each and every member of our contingent and wish them the very best for their future endeavours. Hosting the tournament in Delhi has also been an honour for India. Gratitude to athletes and support staff from almost 100 nations who were part of the tournament, wrote the Prime Minister. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can download our DD India mobile app for news from India and the world. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.